Welcome, everybody, to episode 9 of Community Chronicles, a DDPY community video interview series. Super excited. Today, my guest is the one and only Miss Ardee Eichelmann. Welcome, Ardee.
Thank you, Anthony. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. Ardee, you've received a few shout outs over recent weeks, so it's become apparent to me that you're a valued member of this community, and a lot of people look to you for support and accountability and advice. And so it was exciting to get you to agree to do this, and really looking forward to our conversation here today. So we'll ask you what we ask everybody else, and that's to give us, the Cliff Notes version of what brought you to the program and what has the program done for you.
Okay, what brought me to the program was a little more than a year ago. My congestive heart failure, which I've been living with for 3 years now, got so bad that my clinical team was wanting to refer me for hospice care. And I said, "Oh hell no, oh hell no, I'm not ready yet. Something has to happen." So I worked to get to be able to start doing DDPY, which I'd found out about many years ago from seeing what the Arthur Borman video, like hundreds of other people, maybe thousands of other people who do DDPY. And so January 23rd, 250 days ago, I started doing DDPY, and my health has improved to the point that I'm considered to be the star patient at my clinic, and I'm much healthier than I was.
That's awesome. To think to go from on the edge of hospice to now being somebody that is, working out every day, constantly monitoring your diet. I mean, you're hardcore, Ardee. We have seen you post workouts from a hospital bed.
Yes.
So,
yes, I've been in the hospital twice this summer, and yes, did my workouts there. Did workouts in an emergency room where they're keeping me too long. It's like I got to get my workout in. So yes, I am hardcore, and I have not missed a day since January 23rd, despite it all.
Wow. I mean, that is crazy. And that, I think, is part of what makes you one of our accountability group here, the hardass mofos. Ardee is the definition of a hardass mofo. So I think that she's a perfect addition to that group, along with a lot of other people who are passionate about just doing something every day. As we say, it doesn't matter if you're feeling sick. If you're in the hospital, right, you should be doing something. No matter what the conditions, nobody cares. Work harder.
That's right.
And you know that the work goes beyond just doing the workouts. The workouts is probably the easy part. So what would you say is the hardest part of the work in the program?
Monitoring nutrition. I'm a food addict. I've talked about this before. I've talked about this on videos. Yeah, that's the hard part. Yeah, I can do the workouts. Just, it's like I can't have chips and salsa. So anyway, I work that out and I deal with it in my own way. And yeah, that's the hard part. Workouts, that's a piece of cake in my book.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree. Not everybody in the community is a food addict, but there are many of us there, and it's a slippery slope to walk on. That when you put a lot of physical work in, you have to remind yourself that I did this extra work for a reason, and that reason is not to allow myself, a cheeseburger afterwards. It's very easy to undo all of that hard physical work by getting sloppy in the kitchen.
That's absolutely right. And that's one reason that so many people have a problem. They're going and get frustrated. It's like, but I'm exercising every day and I'm doing blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then what are you doing? And it's like, if they tell you, oh, well, I'm rewarding myself with a brownie. Nah, that's the problem.
Yeah. You have to stop treating that food as a reward. Break relationship with food and try as hard as it is to look at it just as fuel. And sometimes I'm saying stuff like that because I've struggled with it over the last couple months. Just reminding myself that you don't have to eat something just because somebody made it, and you didn't earn it just by putting in an extra half an hour working out.
That's exactly right.
You got to keep your eyes on the main goal. And for someone like me, that's to lose and maintain a healthy weight. And I'm never going to do that if I'm rewarding myself every time a dribble of sweat drips down the side of my face. So,
right.
What would you say, because this show is about the community, Ardee, what is your favorite thing about being a part of the DDPY community?
But everybody is so supportive and they have your back. And if someone doesn't have your back, the rest of the community is letting them know. I mean, that's just the way it is. And that's not always the case in other communities that you are involved in. And so that's the cool part about DDPY.
Yes, it's a self-policing community.
Yes.
We have a lot of good-hearted trolls within the group, but they will watch your back just like anybody else. If somebody is being just a little too negative, they'll get shut down right away. So let's see here. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to mention. This question I remember I asked you before, and I want everybody else to know because I know they're dying to ask. Is your name Ardee? Where does that come from?
I'm named after my grandfather. His name was Richard Donald Dick, and he worked on the railroad, and they called him Ardee Dick. And so my grandmother, one day out of the blue said, Ardee Ann, wouldn't that be a pretty name for a little girl? And bing, many years later, I was around.
Awesome. I think it's a beautiful name and certainly one that I hadn't heard before. So, all right. Ardee, what has been the hardest beyond the kitchen? What's been the hardest mental hurdle for you to overcome? As far as just convincing yourself that you're worth it, I guess, because for a lot of us, that's the kind of thing we get discouraged, and we need something to keep us going. And a lot of time that self-doubt creeps in, and we have a hard time believing that we can do it. You don't seem to have a lot of that issue, in my opinion.
Actually, I do. I just think I hide it well. The big thing for me is that the worth it thing is I'm worth it to keep doing it every day. When it first started, I was just kind of doing it every day and it was okay. And then Sam Alba Jr. had this streak going that was almost 100 days. I was going, wow, if he can do 100 days, I can do 30. And so I have kept going, and the past 2 months have been kind of hell on wheels. You'd think after being in the hospital, that would have been the hard part. No, the past couple of months have been really difficult. And so I've had to remind myself that I was worth it keeping going, because there have been times it's just like, I have to take a week off. And it's like, no, you take 2 days off and you're, that slippery slope you mentioned. Oh yeah, I'd be sliding down it on my butt and never to be seen again.
Yeah, it's actually gotten to the point where for me, I'm more scared of days off than I am of heavy workload days, because I'm the type of person who, if you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile. And a day off is easily going to turn into 2 to a week to what the hell happened to that guy?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you there. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do 3 hours of workouts every day, but give it 15 minutes, give it 20 minutes, to quote the great Scott French, leader of the Tiger Battalion group. You mean to tell me you can't lay on your effing back and effing breathe for 8 effing minutes?
Yeah, really.
You don't have time to do that, and it takes no effort. Just do something. So awesome. Well, Ardee, are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
I'm ready, Anthony.
All right, this is everybody's favorite part. So we're going to start it off. We talked about food, so we'll kick off with a couple of food questions. What is your favorite healthy snack?
My favorite healthy snack? Probably just any raw vegetables. I really like raw vegetables. They're not torture to me like they seem to be to some people. I really, really like them. I'd like them even better if someone would fix me up vegetable trays every week.
It's work.
But
yeah, the work makes it worth it. So what food is your kryptonite?
Cheese dip. It's not the cheese dip, it's the stuff that goes with the cheese dip. But cheese dip because it brings that other stuff with it.
Yes. Now, I tell the same. I work for a potato farming company. I tell people the same thing about potatoes. There's nothing wrong with potatoes. It's all the stuff you slather on top of it that gets you in trouble. So, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Casablanca. I told you before that I'm old school, and hey, that movie was made in 1939. It still holds up. It's a classic.
Yes, and it's a hard one to argue. I don't know too many people who've watched and go, God, that's a dumb movie, right? Everybody enjoys it. So if you haven't checked out Casablanca, it's not in the new releases section, but check it out. What's your favorite DDPY position?
It's diamond cutter because there's so much that goes into the whole diamond cutter sequence. And I always adjust my back when I'm doing diamond cutter, which makes me think of DDP's comments about, oh, I just adjusted my back. And then the other part is when you're hulking it up, boy, let me tell you, you can let out some steam when you're hulking it up.
Let's see here. Let's see. What is your biggest NSV to date?
The fact that I'm still alive.
It's a tough one to beat. And has your experience had a positive influence on anybody else in your life?
I think so. I have a friend named Stephanie who is wheelchair bound, and hearing my stories about DDPY, she has finally decided to start trying some of it. She does really well. We've done Cheer Force Diamond Dozen and Cheer Force 2 together, and she modifies great. She modified great without me even, modifying and her seeing it. She was just on her own. It's like, you go, girl.
That's awesome. What is your favorite curse word?
Oh, come on. It's the F-bomb. I drop it frequently.
What is the worst advice you've ever received?
To not do something that was my passion, to do something that was practical.
And what is the best advice you've ever received?
It was to not get married to my first husband. And I wish I'd followed it.
You kind of tipped it by mentioning he was your first husband. But all right, well, awesome. You made it through the rapid fire round, Ardee. And so the last thing that we're going to ask you to do, and this is probably the hardest part of each one of these interviews, is just picking out one or two people within the community that you think deserves a shout out.
Okay. It's a whole group of people, actually. It's the people who I call the Plank Patrol and the Plank Posse. It's everybody who did the plank challenge. I don't care if you just got up into a plank and held it for about a second. To Erin Greatrix, who did a plank for 11 minutes. That woman is awesome. So, but it's everybody in between who did the planks. I am just in awe of them.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun, but there were some impressive times put out there. I hope that one does not roll around again. I'm looking forward to the pinfall challenge, where you just see how long you can lay in pinfall, because I think I could rank right.
You think you can? I remember you doing planks under your desk at work. That made me smile so big. I used to hide under my desk and do stuff.
Yep, and then I vowed to never try and set a plank PR again after that week. So I only made it to, I think it's 6 minutes and change. And Aaron and Chris McMillan, they made it up 11 minutes ish. Ryan Cecil was up there too.
Yes.
Just nut jobs, not my cup of meat. So,
But I can do the pinfall with you any day of the week.
all right. Well, I'll let you know. We'll get that on the schedule. Hey, Pat and Nadia, if you see this, our next challenge is pinfall.
Okay.
All right, Ardee, that was awesome. Thank you very much for joining me today. I enjoyed our little conversation. I've got one more favor to ask from you, and that's to give us a little bang to shut her down today.
It's never little for me. Bang!
All right. Don't forget to do this tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.